First thing is, let's start with these lines that are a little bit different from all the others. So there was something different about a vertical line and its equation. Do you remember what it starts with? It's a vertical line? Yeah. X equals. So it's a little bit different because this only goes through the x-axis at a certain number, so it's different because it starts with x equals the vertical line. Now, for these, you can, if you like, go ahead and write the slope and the y-intercept. It's good practice to help us remember, we don't forget that. But really, it's just asking you for the equation. So the final answer is really just this part. So some of us said that the top of the x, you see a vertical line. You see a vertical line sort of from B. Helps remember it's x equals. Okay, so all those little tricks that help you remember that, go ahead and use those. Go ahead and do number 2. Very similar. Go to number 2. You go ahead and write it down quietly. See what you get. Very similar, but on the other side. Okay, so for the rest of these, though, it's going to be slope-intercept form. And the main things that's going to happen here is that I'm going to tell you little things that need to be simplified and reduced. So, and that's when you're going to come up, when you're finished with this, show it to me. We're going to look at it and make sure you've done these small little things before you move on. Okay? So think about what we're doing right now as detail-oriented, little things only. Okay? The big part we already know, which is slope-intercept. Remember, our answers for any horizontal or diagonal line is this format. And we need to look up the slope, find out what that is. In this case, you get really close, and you got to make sure you pick 2 points that are exactly on an intersection of the grid line. So like right here is a good point, but right here, not so much as close, but not good enough. Same thing here, not good enough. Not good enough, so this would be the other point I'd use to figure out the slope point. So you got to be very careful when you're picking your points end at. Usually you'll start at the y-intercept, but your ending point might be a little difficult. So if we go up 3, right, we're going to go up 1, 2, 3. Go right 5. So that makes the slope. And then use the y-intercept where it crosses the y-axis. So that means B, the y-intercept is 1. And you can put those into the slope-intercept form. So here, y equals 3 over 5x plus 1. Now don't forget the x. We see some people sometimes they just put 3/5 plus 1. The x lets us know that that's the number, that's the slope number. So without that x, I'd be asking you, well, which one of these is the slope? Is it the 3 over 5 or the 1? By putting the x there, I know it's the slope. So you got to have that in the right place. Okay. Go ahead and finish up the front here, being careful, but checking your work. And go up to number, I'd say, 8. Yeah, go up to number 8. And wait, we'll go over a few more. So we get the hang of this pretty quickly because we've seen it before. But there are little things to look after. So first thing is that, like on number 7, make sure your slope is positive. But number 8, make sure it's negative. So you can tell before you've written any number or even thought about numbers whether the slope is positive or negative. So you can double check quickly that way. Now, here if we went and found the slope, we'd find out it is up. How many? A lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1. Yeah. Now, if you went 8 over 2, that's okay. You can do up 8 over 2, but that reduces 4 over 1, so you always have to reduce, no matter what. Try to do the shortest interval possible. Y-intercept is negative 4. So tell me this. Why is this wrong?
Because it's not simplified.
And what can you simplify on?
It's got a 4x.
4x. So think back to everything you're asked to graph. You were never asked to graph 4 over 1x. What you guys are asked to graph was 4 x minus 4. So that's what I was talking about earlier, those little things you have to watch out for. Is that think about what do the equations look like in the past that you've been working on, and make sure your answers look like that. So small but important details reduce, and in the case if there's a 1 underneath, you remove the 1. You never put over 1. Over 4. So if it's 4x minus 4, that would be the final answer. Got it? Similar, number 9. We have a slope that is 0 and a y-intercept that is -2. However, you have never been asked to graph 0x minus 2. Right? It's always given to you as just y equals -2. So here's yet again something that you need to leave off. So if there's a 1 underneath, like the slope here, leave that off. If the slope is 0 altogether, horizontal line, then there is no x in the equation because there is no slope. So we just write y equals -2. So this is 2 of, I think, 3 or 4 little reducing rules we got to work on for today. And that's what we're going to really be looking for when you guys have this check. On number 11, we can go down to 2 over 1.
Yeah.
Right? It's the slope. And then the y-intercept is 0. So what 2 things do I not need?
Well, one.
Yeah, so as before, we don't need over 1. And we don't need plus 0. So your final equation is just y equals 2x. Now, after all that, what else is wrong?
You can just do
What direction is the line going? Is it going up or down? Down, therefore the slope is negative. So we still have to look after the things we were watching before and be very careful. So we get really focused on, okay, make sure we don't have this and this. Don't forget we have to get the direction right as well. So as simple as it might look, there are some important things we have to be careful for. Don't go too fast. Don't assume it's too easy that you can't make a mistake. It'll probably be okay. Okay, lastly, number 13. Once again, let's do it this way. Slope. What is the slope? What is the y-intercept? So the slope here is just up 1 over 1. So how should this be simplified? So we know this isn't correct because there's a 1 on the bottom. However, have you ever been asked to graph this?
Oh, yeah. I did it right.
You've never seen this. It's never been on paper. So when there's a 1 here, it was never written. It was just left as x minus 2. You always give in the graph y equals x minus 2 or x plus 5. But it was assumed that you knew if there was no number here, that it was a 1, and it was a 1 over 1. So, small but important detail, if the slope is 1 and only 1, then you will not have a number here. If it's -1, you might have a negative x, right? But if it's just positive 1 is the slope, it's assumed without writing it that it is a 1. So you leave it off. So another thing to simplify to be careful for. If the slope is 1, we don't write the number. We don't write the plus 0 for a y-intercept is 0. We don't write the 0x for a slope is 0. And you don't write the over 1 when you have a run of 1. So it's up something, over 1, or left 1, or right 1. We just write that number and leave off the over 1. 4 simplifying details you gotta be careful for. Overall, just think back. Have I ever seen a graph, an equation like this that I've been asked to graph? Okay, if it looks weird, like no, it's never been given to me, I never had a question like that, then that's probably something you can fix. Okay? Go ahead and finish the right-hand column, and then raise your hand. We'll kind of briefly check it, or if you want to check with someone next to you to make sure you're simplifying everything correctly. And then we'll have you go on to the Next page.
It's more.